morning and welcome to the historic Crystal Palace National Sports Centre here in a very sunny South London as we get ready for a thrilling weekend of volleyball. For the first time in a long time, we are inside, not on those sandy courts. And we have Final Four action, opening game. The league champions in the MALORY Women's Super League, the Mallerie Eagles UEL, will take on LIONHEARTS. VINARIUS, a team that so nearly went down last season, but they've had a tremendous year. And we are about ready for semi-final number one. Michael Hanson-Morris, delighted to be joined by Jess Smith for this. And Jess, last year, the inaugural Final Four, we had 4 5-setters in the 8 games. We had drama, reverse sweeps in both bronze medal games. What can we expect from this weekend?
I would expect nothing less from this weekend versus what we saw last year even. I'm super excited for this weekend, to be totally honest with you. This is what we all wait for during the volleyball season. We've watched everybody play, we've watched everybody perform, we've watched the teams grow and improve as the season has gone on, and now we finished it off with a weekend of top-tier volleyball.
As both teams about to start their hitting part of the warm-up. Obviously, 2 games in the MALORY Women's Super League today. This game, and then at 1:30, Essex Blades take on Team Side Out Bologna. 2 semi-finals that could go either way. How important is it to just settle in early in these environments, Jess? We've seen it last year, Final Four. We saw it opening weekend. How important is the early parts of these games?
They're massively important, both mentally and physically. You're playing in a slightly unfamiliar environment. These teams have been playing mostly in their own home venues and at away venues all season. So here at Crystal Palace, things are a bit bigger. We have a massive crowd today. People have already started to trickle in. And the teams are going to be looking to try and settle in early, get things moving. And I think the most exciting thing about this weekend is just that everything is up for grabs. Everybody has something to gain, something to lose, but they all know that they finished in the top 4 of the league this season, which is exciting for all of the players out there.
Yeah, and obviously these 2 sides have met twice already in the regular season. Mallory winning both, but Jess, the game in November was the interesting one. LIONHEARTS had Mallory on the ropes, let them off, but that's going to give them some confidence going into this 1v4 matchup.
Yes, definitely. So if LIONHEARTS can capitalize on whatever it was, that little spark of magic that they brought in November, they could really take this to 5 sets as well. But, you know, like I said before, the match could go either way, and I would say the same thing about every single match that we're going to watch today. This is almost like a mini tournament. So the season's over, all of the league matches have been played. We have a tournament, winner take all, and at the end of the weekend, there will be one women and 1 men's team crowned with the gold medals.
So let's talk about our league champions to start with. The Mallerie Eagles UEL, 17-1 on the season, also in the cup final, so just 1 loss, only dropped 13 sets. What's been the standout for you about this Mallory team, Jess, in the regular season?
I think the dominance of the performance that they've had all season. You know, Coach Carroll talked in her pre-weekend interview about the number of 5-set matches they played, but I actually went back and looked. They've only played 4 5-set matches, but they've won every single one of those. It just shows the absolute level of resilience that they have when they're playing their matches. So they've only lost 1 match this season. It was a 3-set straight loss to Team Side Out Bologna. It was a pretty dominant performance from Bologna, but it looks like a little bit of a blip in their confidence across the season. So excited to see what they put out there today.
Yeah, and obviously the thing about this team, caught up with Carol Gordon in the preview to this game, depth of the Mallerie Eagles is what stand out. Obviously, they added Georgia McGovern another set. They didn't need another set. They added Georgia McGovern at Christmas. We'll talk about her throughout the game, no doubt about it. But how important is it that this Mallory team, if things don't go well, they've got so many different ways to change a game?
Yeah, and Carol talked about this in her pre-weekend interview. Her massive focus for this weekend is on the flexibility and interchangeability of the squad. At a moment's notice, they can change their setting setup. They can change the number of setters that they've got on court. They can flip things around. They've got plenty of outsides, middles, opposites. You know, they have depth in every aspect of the game. It's that I think is going to give them a good start to the match today. I think as well, it's worth calling out that she specifically said that they are preparing for this match as though anything could happen, which from a coaching mentality is such a smart way to approach things. And I'm sure that her team will be prepared for that.
Well, I thought we were high enough, but we nearly had a volleyball join us from warm-ups as both teams starting to get ready. And obviously we talked about Mallory. Let's talk about the other team on the other side of the court, London Lionhearts VINARIUS. We talked about it already, nearly relegated last season. What a turnaround this team has had.
Yeah, really great performance across the season from this team. So one standout for me was their 3-1 defeat to Durham that they had back in January, where they lost the first set, but then they came back and won the 3 next sets quite dominantly as well. So it was 25-23, 25-21, and 25-20. So that's a really great performance against a pretty top team who made it to the Final Fours last year. And, you know, I mentioned the number of 5-set matches that Mallory has played, but VINARIUS has played 7 5-set matches this season, and they've won 4 of those. So they beat Essex in 5, Leeds, Dark Star, and then Leeds again. They've only fallen in 5 sets to Mallory. They lost one of those 5-set matches to Essex and Team Side Apollonia. So
I think the interesting is they've taken every team that's here this weekend to 5.
Yeah.
So they haven't quite got over the line in a couple of them. But as a team that's grown, knowing that you can take the big teams to 5 gives you confidence that when you string it right, you can pull off an upset. And it would be an upset.
yeah, and that's the wild card component, especially for a weekend like this, is you don't know what can happen mentally. Where are each of the players at? What are they going to bring on the day? How is everybody going to perform on the day? What are they feeling like? Who's got nerves? Who doesn't? And who's going to come out of the gates absolutely flying?
Yeah, and obviously the Lionhearts team, when you've got a passionate coach like Davide, the interesting thing is he builds his team one way. Being a former Lib, he builds it around defense. How important is it? The serve-receive unit today is on fire for Lionhearts and really solid to allow them to get into system.
Yeah, so Lionhearts have a really good couple of players offensively, but Coach Davide has specifically said that his team excels in defense, and the stats show that. You can see that they are the league leaders in digs. They've got a couple of players with an insane amount of blocks, and it's really impressive to see from a team that only joined the National Volleyball League back in 2018. So they've only been here for a short period of time in volleyball terms, but they have absolutely skyrocketed in that time in the league. They've definitely been building on the fact that they have, a number of players that have been with the club since they joined the NBL. They've added a few new players over the last couple of seasons, 2 new players specifically this season with Porcher and Spiridova coming in from their previous clubs. And it's an exciting growth period still for them, regardless of whatever the weekend brings.
And I think that's the interesting thing is that they are going to be super loose. I was able to go to training with them on Thursday. They feel like they are the underdogs. They've got nothing to lose in this game. So how important is that to have that freedom to be able to go out and not worry about making mistakes, because you've got that concept of, okay, we need to play outside our comfort zone. We need to challenge ourselves.
I think when you're in an unfamiliar and big venue like Crystal Palace, it's such a freeing feeling to know that if you lose this match 3-0, it doesn't mean anything. You made it much further than you thought you were going to make it at the beginning of the season. You've beaten every single goal you've set yourself. So to come out here, they might come out and be swinging harder, making better blocks, making great defensive touches that, nobody's expecting them to make just because they don't feel like they have to lose anything.
Indeed, as both teams about to head to the service line, we're just getting the starting 7s up here as well. Jess, before we look at some key players, what's the one thing that both teams need to do well today for you?
For me, it's passing. I'm a little bit biased as a libero myself, but both teams have some really solid offensive options, but they can't get that running without great service reception and incredible digging. So we need accuracy of the pass to get things moving for both of these squads.
As we have a look, now we'll look at our ones to watch. We'll start with Mallory. And there's so many options in this Mallory team, but we've got to go with the player in form. Number 5 down the middle, Grace Lazard. When Grace hits a ball, it stays hit, Jess.
Yes, she leads the Super League in the hit percentage. She's second-ranked middle for kills in all of the Super League, which is so impressive. She also has an incredible 50 blocks. Now, 6 of those blocks were solo, but she's got 44 blocks that she combined with somebody else. So She has a high service error percentage, but that's not what your middles are known for. It's the kills that we're going to be watching today. We want to see how many balls she's going to put down, how many ways she can get around a block, especially with some good blocking on the Lionheart side.
Indeed, as Grace, timely trip to the bench out of camera view. Good job, Grace. But we'll flip it over and we'll have a look at Lionhearts. And there's only one person we can talk about. Someone that's made a jump, not just in clubs, but in position. Masha Shrivadova. And what can you say about her season that isn't superlative, Jess?
I mean, I don't think I could really expand on it any more than that, Michael, other than telling you guys specifically about some of the stats. So she is by far and away a league leader on kills and aces. So she's got 270 kills across the season out of 759 attacks, which is an insane number of attacks. Probably testament to the number of 5-set matches that they have played. She is a huge offensive weapon for this Lionhearts team. But what she's also really good at is defense. She has 224 digs, which is impressive because she's the only player in the league that has more than 200 digs this season. So Coach Davide mentioned defense, and she's definitely going to play a part here. She's going to be key to both the defense and the offense. So the question really is, what are Mallory going to do to shut her down and to avoid her when she's in defense?
Indeed, as both teams finish the warm-up, we're about to get introductions. We'll introduce the starting 7 as well. But with Masha, it's the speed, and we're chatting with head coach for Lionhearts VINARIUS, Davide Tabetti, in the build-up to this. It's the speed of Masha's adjustment, moving to a new position in the outside, that impressed him. He felt like after a month it was almost natural.
Yes, and that's so impressive from a player, but it's something that you don't see very often, players changing position. You train for a really long time to get good at something, and then she's just come in and said, oh no, I can do this as well, and I can pass to boot.
As both teams heading onto court, as we're about to get underway, the crowd filling in nicely, Jess, as well. We know we've got over 700 ticket sales for the weekend. Obviously, if you're in the London area, it's not too late to head down either today or tomorrow. 8 games of volleyball here at the National Sports Centre in Crystal Palace. But how important is it that the crowd is going to be onto this as we welcome our referees onto court? Our first referee, William Peregrini, and our second referee, Anna Juskowska, two of the most veteran refs in the Super League as well, and obviously an honour for them to be called up to the Final Four. We will both see them tomorrow as well in the medal games. But how important is this crowd going to be for the players?
I think it's going to be massive. Neither team has technically home court advantage here in this particular venue, but we can see out in the crowd that there's quite a lot of supporters with VINARIUS Final Four tops on our right-hand side. There's plenty of Mallory supporters over on our left-hand side. They're both London clubs, so you would expect to see big crowds. And the more the crowds can feed into this, the better the players will feel like they can perform.
So as we welcome the Mallerie Eagles to the bench, Chloe Allen forgetting her bench, which definitely won't go popular, but Mallory's starting 7 is going to be number 4, the captain, Chloe Allen. Number 1, Steph Boyce. Number 2, Selena Batiste. We'll talk about her in a second, yes. Number 5, Grace Lazard. Number 12, Jojo Cruz. And number 17, Georgia McGovern. And of course, the starting libero, number 3, Ari Sierra. And Selena Batiste, really important piece for Mallory, moving from setter to the opposite position. She's had a big end to the season, Jess.
Yeah, has really been quite impressive. She's grown as the season has gone on, and I'm excited to see what she's going to put out onto the court today.
And that is your starting 7 for the Mallerie Eagles. Obviously, head coach Jefferson Williams, Ian Legrand, Carol Gordon, part of the coaching staff, super experienced coaching staff for Mallory. As we now welcome the London Lionhearts to the floor, and they'll start with number 4, the middle, Kerr Sora. Number 5, Masha Shrivadova is wearing number 5, as Jess mentioned. Number 9, Mallory Porcher. Big piece for Lionheart. She did not play against either of the league games against Mallory, and we know what she can do as a blocker. We'll talk about that, no doubt. Number 11, the starting setter for Lionhearts. Number 11, Mira Apanasova. Number 12, sorry, number 15, Maggie Stewart, number 12, Elena Vislien, and number 16, their starting libero, Maeve Devitt. And of course, head coach Davide Taberte, assisted by Turbo Tishong and Jeremy Long. So how important is it for Mallory to adjust to the new blocking that you've got in Mallory Porsche? There's a mouthful for you at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. But obviously, Mallory leader in blocks per set.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bit of a game changer for the Mallory squad because Porter herself has 42 blocks. She's not far off of Grace Lazard. So really interesting to see. But the impressive thing with Mallory Porter is that she has 20 solo blocks. That is an incredible number across a massive season for this squad. So will Mallory be able to adjust to that, or are they going to struggle here? I'm so excited for this match. You don't even know how much.
Hey, we don't have one of them, Jess. We have 8 here at Final 4. We are about ready to go. Essex Rebels in the house. Head coach of team side out, Polonia. Mark Kodopoulos just walked through the door as well. And we are about ready. The liberos coming off. We are about ready. So Mallory going to open up with a middle serving. Steph Boyce gets the call. 95.5% success rate. Not the leader in the team for Steph, but really solid server to get us underway here at the Crystal Palace Sports Centre. And we are ready to go. Opening whistle. Semi-final number 1, Mallerie Eagles UBL, Lionhearts VINARIUS, and we are underway here at the 2025 Final 4. Maggie Stewart, cross court, big swing to start.
Massive swing, and we talked about this in the warm-up here, where it is so important that these teams feel like they can be confident and be relaxed as they play, and we saw that straight away from Stewart.
So Elena Vislien, the Romanian, to the service line. Chloe Allen, a poor pass to get us underway, but Selena Batiste able to hit into the blockers. Stewart and Porsche recycle. Little tip by Cruz, well read. As we have a long rally to get underway on the Mallory first serve of the day. Allen, perfect pass. McGovern in system. Batiste cross court. Atanasova tips it over, but Lionhearts control the ball. Backline swing by Shrivadova into the net, and Mallory win a long one.
What a rally. Only 2 points in, and we're already seeing a crazy rally going on. You could see in the first couple of moments of that rally, Porsche having an impact already with a solid block.
So Selena Batiste back to serve. Slide for VINARIUS. Well blocked by Mallory. They're going to go to Cruz over the double. Little block touch for Lionhearts. That blocking group has come as Stewart goes push over the block. Miscommunication. McGovern and Lazard blocked by Porsche. And the Mallory offense a little bit stuttering, but the Lionhearts block is here early.
Yeah, what a block there to get things started for Porsche. Massive there. Really good read mid-rally there from Allen to see a long tip coming into position 1.
As Allen this time, perfect pass. McGovern finds the floor on 2, and that's some of the experience of George McGovern. Obviously will hit a little bit, but D3 all tournament setup back before she returned at Christmas. Made the NCAA tournament semi-final, so loads of experience of a Final 4 setting, and she's going to be important for Mallory this weekend as Jojo Cruz back. Little tip by Porsche. Lazard off the net to play it. Allen's going to have a swing just inside the 3-meter line. Left by Stewart, but the ball well inside the baseline. And the first kill for the Mallory captain, Chloe Allen, hitting 236 on the season. Lead team high, 207 kills.
Yeah, that was a smart attack from her there, just looking for that open position between 6 and 5.
As Alex Chinnery on the baseline doing scouting for tomorrow. A Shrivadova big pick up by Allen. Again, they're going to go to Masha, but blocked by Lazard into the face of Maeve Devitt. Grace Lazard starting off with a bang.
Yeah, exactly what you want to see from your middles early on in the game. Getting that defense up there, that was a monster block and a half from Lazard.
Atanasova does a great job of keeping that alive, and Sierra can't make the one-handed save.
Really smart play there from Porsche to just take that slightly too low ball and just tip it just behind at position 4, make it short for the libero.
Pleased to have all of you join us in the live stream. See, 88% of you think the Mallerie Eagles are going to win, but we are back and forward early on. And keep your thoughts coming in the comments as well. We will get to any questions you have and things like that throughout this weekend. As another kill for Chloe Allen, her second, one of 4 players in the Super League with over 200 kills on the season.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have a 2-point lead, and Grace Lazard, I want to watch, back on the service line and rolls it off to Atanasova. Big pickup. That's not easy for the setter. As Cruz makes a perfect dig. Boyce into the block. As a backline pipe attack. Can't find the floor. McGovern goes cross court. Allen off the hands of the block. Sommer was trying to line it up, but Mallory just starting to find some offensive rhythm.
Yeah, really interesting there. So there were a couple of containing block touches on both sides of the net, but so smart from Allen to see that those containing block touches were happening and going slightly higher on the hands to get that block out kill.
As the ace comes for the Eagles, and head coach Davide Taberti walking towards the buzzer. Indeed, he is going to use it. Timeout, Lionhearts, VINARIUS, 7-3 lead for Mallerie Eagles. And Jess, I think Lionhearts were pleased with some of the blocking they've got early, but right now it's outside of the first swing of the day by Stewart, not really found an offensive rhythm yet.
Yeah, not quite. I think what's happening at the minute is that Mallory are doing a good job of putting on the pressure, and the speed of the offense is really high because they're starting off with a great pass, which is exactly what Lionhearts need to stop them from doing. Lionhearts, on the other hand, not having the best pass so far, and as they're struggling in defense, they're struggling in offense as well because it's just having that knock-on impact. As Atanasova is unable to put up a quick ball. There's been a lot of bump setting going on. She'll want to get her hands on more of those balls where she can.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of insight that the transition offense was something Lionhearts were talking about in the build-up to this weekend, trying to get the ball going. As another ace for Lazard. She beats Trivadova down the line, and back-to-back aces either side of the timeout. Arguably the hardest thing to pull off is the ace out of the timeout, the way we've seen serves this year in both the women's and the men's side. Both teams normally error count laden.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But this is why Grace Lazard's weapon this time goes a little bit more float. Perfect pass, middle attack blocked, and not quite sure if that was a hand on the bottom of the net as Sora tried to line up the middle attack, but Mallory pulling away early on, as we're pleased to have McGovern, who I can only assume is family relation to the Mallory setter Georgia, watching from New Zealand. Good, I suppose, evening as it now is over there. Probably a perfect start time out there. Little Saturday night volleyball as Allen from way outside the court. It's going to have to be a big swing. Batiste able to play it. Allen, I think Lionhearts bench wanted a double touch on the set. McGovern sets Batiste, who has to run round it. Not the easiest thing to do from the opposite. Trivadova lined up. Lazard plays it. I think that was going out. But ball into the crowd, and a big point for Lionhearts just to stem the momentum.
Yeah, really smart play there from Trivadova to take advantage of the fact that Lazard was in position 5. She had already had a couple of defensive touches that weren't the best, so you might as well go hard at that. But you can see that the Lionhearts are still struggling in defense. That off-net shot from Allen should have been a great pass. It's almost like a roll shot. That needs to be up and in the perfect position for Atanasova.
And she's won back to the service line. Allen misses the baseline. And back-to-back points for Lionhearts. Brings them to within 4 early on set number 1.
Yeah, 3 kills and 1 error, though, for Allen is not a bad start to the set. 25% error rate is fairly low. Probably lower than what she's been putting up this season.
As Atanasova, 18 aces on the season. Can't get another one, but it's another error. This time Mallory trying to run the slide with Boyce, and she puts it over the baseline. Couple of hits. Right idea from Mallerie, not quite the right execution.
Yeah.
Drifting long.
I think it's just that the speed of the offense that they're trying to run just pushed Boyce a little bit too hard. She might have been trying to use high hands off of that ball, but didn't quite get them.
As Allen plays underhand, McGovern with a crazy tip onto the line. Not a lot you can do as a libero to make that read. Second kill from the setting position of Georgia McGovern, and she'll go back to serve, but what a high-level play that is.
Yeah, that's where the experience, especially of being at such a high-level competition as the Final Four, is going to come in handy. She's got that court awareness. What a float serve.
Yeah, serve rating of 2.2 on the season. We'll talk about that, no doubt, over the weekend as Batiste goes line. David gets a hand to it, but Srividova can't quite make the second pickup. Good hand by the Lionhearts libero, but couldn't quite keep it up. So more stop, obviously, Georgia McGovern joined at Christmas, still one of the best servers. Srividova goes into the block. Stewart's going to recycle. It's going to be a free ball for Mallory. Vislien goes high and long. Sierra right under it. Reverse set. Batiste cross court finds the floor.
What?
And you can see Mallory really trying to get Selena Batiste going in this game.
What a swing from Batiste there. That was a rocket of a shot. Exactly what you want to see out of your opposite.
Pass just outside the 3 meter line. Vislien into the net, halfway up.
Yep. This is just completely aligned to what we've been seeing the whole set so far, where Lionhearts are just really struggling to get up a good pass. It means that Atanasova has no chance to get up a decent set, and the teams are just struggling, and then we follow that up with a service error.
Yeah, McGovern into the net, just a 6th error on the season. As the big serving Masha Srividova to the service line, Sierra. And they're going to call a violation on McGovern. Just a little bit too long on the pass by Sierra. Rare serve receive over her, just her 9th of the season in just under 200 attempts. Led the Super League, coming in at a 237 serve reception rating. As Allen this time takes that one. Boyce into the middle of the block. It's going to be a joust at net. Sura off the shoulder of McGovern. Good set by Allen from the back court. Batiste playing on the left side at the moment. And as Tip finds the gap between Cruz and Sierra. Lovely little read by Maggie Stewart.
So smart from Stewart there to just see that the defense was waiting for her to swing hard at that ball, stuck on their heels waiting to just absorb the pass, and instead she just put it a little bit short. Smart tip there.
As head coach for Mallory, Jefferson Williams, uses one of his 2 timeouts. Both teams have gone 6-6 since the initial Lionhearts VINARIUS timeout. But for Mallory, a couple of defensive errors, and really it's the errors that have crept up late in that set. For the last 6 points for Lionhearts have been Mallory errors.
Yes, they have. We have had a couple of hitting errors, 1 service error, and then just an error where, like you said, the libero Sierra just putting that ball a little bit too tight, forcing Georgia McGovern to have an overreach trying to recover that ball. So
I mean, that's one of those. Is it on the setter? Is it on the lib, on the pass? It's always a tight one, but either way, error is an error. As Allen running the right side attack goes into the net, and another point out of the timeout. It's interesting that Mallory kind of changed the system. Chloe Allen playing on the right side, Celine on the left. Don't see that too often with Allen in that kind of opposite position.
yeah, it is an interesting setup, but she will at least be comfortable there. That's a much better pass this time.
As Batiste goes, tries to roll, but Atanasova reads it well. Stewart's going to have to wait for it. Finds Sierra. Pass to about 4 meters out. Batiste into the block. Boyce able to play cover. Gets it over on one. Vislien waits for it, but pushes it wide. Second error. And just kind of felt like she didn't have the depth on the timing, and she was waiting on it. And as a hitter, it's the worst thing you can do. Have that time to wait on it, not be able to full momentum. And she can't quite convert.
Yeah, it looks like when she put that ball up, she was almost expecting Sora to hit it on the second, and she wasn't expecting it to come back to her, so she didn't get back in a hitting position. Oh,
As Sierra gets a touch, Cruz runs round it but puts it into the net. Sierra down to a need to play it, but good set. Baptiste rolls it over the top of the block, and you've got the middle playing 5. It's always a tough cover.
It is, yeah, and that's exactly the type of play that you want to make when your middle's in position 5. Put them down on the floor, make it difficult, because you know that even if they do get a hand on that ball, it's not going to be the same sort of pass that Libero is going to put up.
Long ball, Porsche, first real attack through the middle. There's the ball, and here comes a double sub for Lionhearts as well.
You say that was the first real attack through the middle. I'm going to say that was the first perfect pass that we've seen from Lionhearts for the entire set, and that is the result of good passing. This is what they need to do to change themselves, to get back into this set and back into the match as a whole, is improve that passing, get their middles running, give their outsides and opposites a good opportunity to put a swing on the ball.
As Cruz going to force Sierra well along the baseline, but that's a tight pass. Cruz, they're going to ask for the net touch. I think that was a Lionhearts net touch. But referee thinks Cruz went under, not too much late protest, and all of a sudden Lionhearts are within 2. Obviously the double sub as well into the game. Number 2, Gabby Nabrega. She is on serve, best server on this Lionhearts team, along with number 14, Deanne Ewan, who will go to the opposite as the Baptiste finds the back corner, beats David on the one-on-one.
Yeah, Baptiste looking really comfortable with that swing there. The Lionhearts ladies giving her a little bit too much line. She had plenty of open space, effectively an open net.
So Baptiste, David only puts the ball up again. Another Lionhearts not doing well. McGovern gets a touch on it. Baptiste has to wait on it from the free midline. She is the back court, so no jump. Stewart into the block, but Cruz can't quite control the angle. And we have a 2-point game, mid-set number 1 here at Final Four 2025 in Crystal Palace.
Yeah, smart swing there from Sviridova to take that block out to get the kill.
Cruz has to play it. McGovern couldn't get that. Good swing from Baptiste on the free midline. She'll get hands on it as Allen tried to cover. Cruz waits on it. Roll shot again. Shrivadova, tight angle on the cut. Well handled by McGovern, stepping off the net. Out of system for both teams. A little tip. Another long rally. Cruz, I think that was going long, but Stewart plays it. Good pass. Shrivadova, huge cut shot to avoid the antenna. Allen from the pipe. Porsche has to wait on the set. But a big rally won by the Eagles.
Incredible rally. Some really great plays happening. Yes, I agree with you that one ball was going out. Interesting as well to see that Lionhearts have been playing while they were serving with Sviridova hitting from the opposite position. So kind of maybe her more natural position, but she's been playing as an outside this year. So what if she's done some magical things with that ball to keep it live.
Yeah, 2 really tight cut shots as a misplay on the block touch by Nabrega.
This is the importance of making sure that when your attackers are attacking, you have to get low and you have to be ready. You have to stop moving and be ready for that ball coverage.
Yeah. Some of the team side-out players just coming down the steps on the opposite side to us. They will play the Essex Rebels in semi-final number 2 as Cruz just misses the sideline. And I think potential reverse of the double sub is coming in a minute as head coach Davide Taberte just pointing to his bench. So we'll probably see this Lien and Atanasova back in as a big swing by Lazard. Hasn't seen a lot of ball in set number 1, but when she has, is being effective.
Yeah, perfect set that time. It was the right height. You know, we saw a few points ago where Boyce was struggling to make a connection because that ball was a little bit too low, but Lazard there, perfect swing. The block wasn't quite set for that one.
I think I've just seen the mascot upset some fans on the far side. We'll talk about that, no doubt, at some point. Masha Shrivadova into the chest of Lazard. McGovern with a great pickup. Davitt with a great pass, fully in system, but miscommunication and a net touch by Mallory.
Yeah, Boyce there just a little too eager to get herself turned around and whacked the bottom tape of the net with her arm.
As indeed that double sub is reversed.
And like you mentioned before, it really is just those errors that Mallory are putting out that are driving the comeback of Lionhearts.
As Allen can't control serve. Sierra from the back line, and Allen goes off pace and finds the middle of the defense. And Chloe Allen's had a strong first set, and Mallory move into the 20s, lead by 4. As Georgia McGovern on the service line, and she goes back-to-back errors into the middle of the net.
Yeah, a bit disappointing, but when you want to put on that hard service pressure, because she has quite a low float serve, and it just goes over the top of the tape, so she's just pushing it a little too hard right now.
As error followed by error. This time, Masha Shrivadova makes error number 25 for her on the season, and Lionhearts VINARIUS going to use their second timeout and talk it over, trailing 21-17.
Yeah,
But
interesting there to see her miss that serve when it's actually something that has been coming up a lot on social media recently about watching the NCAA men's, is that the number of service errors makes the match unwatchable. But you see, that was only 2 service errors in a row. But watching that happen, it really detracts from the way that the match flows on.
as you see on your screen there, Spikey, the mascot, having some fun with the crowd. It's starting to fill in nicely here at Crystal Palace. But I think, Jess, the interesting thing is early on in this set was where the difference is. When Lionhearts used that first time out, it was 7-3 Mallory. That lead has kind of stayed between 3 and 6 the entire rest of this set.
Yeah, and as you said, it's really just been Mallory giving away those points with a few errors they've been letting creep into their game.
So as Chloe Allen had a couple of aces the first time. Davitt, that ball goes over the net. Cruz, roll shot, gets a tiny hand of Soren. That just enough pace off it. Anderson Sova couldn't quite make the dig.
Yeah, and this is the type of smart heads-up play that we've been seeing from Mallory for the entire set that we haven't quite seen from Lionhearts. They've been a little bit scrambly, a little bit panicky almost as they've been touching the ball.
A spiker nearly went headfirst down the steps opposite us. That's mascot doing, and there is a baseball bat swing because that ball was a little bit too out of here for Lionhearts, and all of a sudden out of that timeout hasn't favoured them, and Mallory just 2 points away from set number 1 with Chloe Allen, the captain, on serve.
Much better pass there.
Isley and into the block of Boyce and Cruz. Another back set, she has to wait on it, and the off speed hits the hand of Cruz and out of court. Really smart little piece of hitting by Vislian.
Yeah, really smart there because I think Boyce didn't expect that ball to go back to Vislian out to the opposite side.
As Batiz goes down the line again, attacking the setter in the backcourt. And Selena Batiz, arguably, no doubt, the story of set 1 for Mallory. That transition to setter opposite really paying off as Grace Lazard will get into the front row. Steph Boyce back to serve, 95.5% success rate. Her third time on the service line. We know she's going to get ball in play. Another good pass for Lionhearts. Stewart finds the seam.
And we saw that from Stewart right at the beginning of the set, and then we haven't really seen it since then. So to see her come back now when they're under pressure and put in a swing like that is so impressive to see.
Same rotation as well, which is an interesting thing to look at, as 5 set points still left for Mallory. Allen steps into a slower serve. Cruz into the block of Adenusoba and Porsche. And Lionhearts trying to get some momentum late into the set.
Yeah, and again, this comes into that mentality piece. They don't feel like they have anything to lose. They're maybe being a little bit more aggressive than they would have been earlier on in the set when they were a little bit more nervous. So taking advantage of that and trying to take some momentum into set 2.
As Lazard mistimes the middle connection, back-to-back errors. Jefferson Williams hits the buzzer, and 3 points in a row for Lionhearts.
Yeah, exactly not what Coach Jefferson Williams is going to want from his ladies. He probably just wants to try and throw off the service of the Lionhearts here to try and reset things. They don't call it the coach's point for nothing, and you mentioned earlier that quite common for players to miss their serve out of the timeout here.
I feel like he's wanting to dance. Look at Spike in the middle of your screen again. Feel like he's going to try and outdance Carol Gordon, which would be impressive.
Oh, I would love to see a dance-off between the two of those. That would be a show for the weekend.
We've got 7 more games. Let's set that up.
Let's set that up.
Right, but we need to set up as the end of the set or not, as the serve goes into net tape all over. Mallory take it 25-21 over Lionhearts Vinarius. And yes, neither team in great rhythm in set number 1.
No, there were a lot of errors come out of the Mallory squad that really left the door open for Lionhearts here. So interesting to see that it finished 25-21. Based on the first kind of 10 points of the set, I would have actually expected that the Mallerie Eagles would have won that with 25 and then a score of less than 20 for Lionhearts. So interesting to see those errors playing a part. We've seen the top scorer for set number 1 for Mallerie Eagles is Chloe Allen. No surprise there.
Nope.
So, and then the top scorer for the Lionhearts set 1 is Porsche.
Interesting. We will take a quick ad break. We join you.
Behind the 3-meter line. They're putting Adenusoba under a ton of pressure. It means that they can't run the offense that they want to run. They haven't been able to get their middles running, especially Mallory Porsche, who has somehow become their top scorer for that first set, despite the fact that I think she only had 1 or 2 decent sets. She had a couple of other sets that she just had to struggle to get over the net. So if they can get their passing running, it will be a completely different match. And I think for Mallory, if they can cut down on the number of errors as they go into this second set, it'll make a difference to their performance as well, because if they can play as well as they were playing when they weren't making errors, they will dominate.
So Devon's coming back onto the floor for set number 2. Looks like no changes either side. Probably not a big surprise early on. It'll be Lionhearts to serve. And they'll open up with their Estonian in the middle, Sora on the service line. Serve rating of 2.05 on the season. 17 aces for the Estonian middle. And we are about underway in set number 2. And service error to end set 1, service error to start set number 2.
Exactly the way that they don't want to be starting this second set. So they'll be looking to immediately change things up.
As Atanasova pass inside. Porsche can't beat Allen in the back row. Cruz has to go roll into the block. Porsche has to play it a second time. Not wildly in control. Good swing by Stewart, but Sierra, good positioning on the cross court. Cruz, long. And Jojo Cruz hasn't quite found her rhythm for Mallory so far.
No, she hasn't been as prolific as we usually see her in matches, but I'm just going to give a little bit of kudos to Stewart there. She's made some really smart swings.
As another service error again by Vieslien that time, pushing it wide. And I think, Jess, there's going to be the frustration. You can make errors, but you want to get, especially when you're not trying to go big, you are trying to get ball in play. You need to force Mallory to win points and not just give the league champions a heads up as Atanasova tries to set Porsche on the slide. Porsche couldn't let it go as McGovern gets the tip. Lionhearts scrambling to keep it alive. Mallory fully in system mode as Lazard off the block. Big pickup by Trivadova. Vieslien will opt for the push. Passive long set across to Allen. Damn it, big one-handed pickup. Stewart into the block of McGovern and Lazard, and Mallory win a big rally.
Yeah, massive rally there. Really incredible pickups from Davitt in that rally, especially that last one.
You can see McGovern and Lazard teaming up perfectly in the front court. As much better pass. Stewart waits on it and beats Sierra. I think there was a little hesitation for a minute as Cruz was moving to her left to try and cover the seam as well. But Maggie Stewart really growing into this game, the American. 7 in total kills in the Super League, coming in at 165. Last time out against Mallory, just 3 kills in the league game in March. As Shrivadova keeps it alive, but there'll be another 3-ball. Cruz a little bit short. Lazard on the slide, misses the baseline by an inch.
Referee overrules the line judge there and calls that ball in. Maggie Stewart just going to ask what exactly has happened here, because I don't think she noticed that he had changed the call.
No, nor did I. I went straight on our line judge.
So in the game, the first referee always has the final decision.
Of course he does.
You know, he's got a really good view actually from stood up there, but you watch that back on. Yeah, we don't have Hawkeye just yet.
Shrivadova finds the sideline on the cross court, and it's very interesting tendency that Lionhearts are really trying to attack cross court with the Mallory middles back on the service line and then moving out to position 5. They're really trying to set up the cross court angle and really try and force that advantage. As Porsche low, Allen not a good set. Sierra just up in the air, so Cruz waits on it from about 3.5 meters back. Another slide, this time Vasura. Cruz, good defense, and Boyce open net middle, can't find the kill, but Shrivadova just puts it long.
Yeah, that's a tough ball to try and get anything good on. Really well defended there. It's interesting to see that Mallory have started to push their blocks really close to the pins on either side. So they're leaving a lot of cross court open.
McGovern struggle with a serve in set number 1. Goes line, trying to go at Shrivadova. She'll tip it. Sierra, dolphin dive save, but puts it over on 1. So Shrivadova goes left-handed. Again, finds Sierra. Allen curves the run, but Atanasova from the 3-meter line. Going to set back court and finds the line. Georgia McGovern convinced it was wide, but line judge on the angle
Good swing there from Vasilean, and smart set as well from the Tennisova.
As the left-handed setter for Lionhearts back. Sierra, another poor pass. McGovern plays it legally. Looked like it missed the antenna and was in the kind of outer part of the net. Sierra with a big dig, and that ball's going to go over the baseline.
So, just to clarify, if the ball touches the net outside of the antenna, it is out.
Well,
so
that's
if
what
that
it
ball
looked like
touched
to me.
where the antenna is attached to the net or outside of that portion of it, I also thought that ball was out.
Okay, to be fair, we are on the wrong side.
We are on the wrong side, but from our angle, it definitely looked out.
Batiste.
That was definitely out.
Net touch. Oh, no, sorry, antenna touch.
Yep.
And Lionhearts Vinarius take a 1-point lead, and Jefferson Williams not happy with his side. Gonna talk it over. 3 errors already for Mallory in set number 2.
Yeah, not the best start. There's been 3 errors from either side, so of the 11 points that we've seen so far, only 5 of them have been earned. But the Mallory ladies have started out, they've only got 1 kill and 1 block. Most of their points have been driven by errors from Lionhearts, so they just need to settle in. They look a lot less settled than they did in the first set. Lionhearts have started to improve their passing. You can see it in their offense. So if they can keep doing that and keep putting the pressure on Mallory, they can turn the second set around.
Atanasova, big part of this Lionhearts team this year. Coach David was telling us in the build-up to this, probably so harsh on herself that she never gives herself credit. I remember talking to her after the Super League Live in Leeds where we picked to play the game, and the first thing she talked about as Alan finds the cross-court kill, first thing she said is, why did you pick me? I didn't play that well. But I think that's a lot about her standards and that constant room where it even just keep pushing yourself week on week. As Alan, again, Mallory trying to go to position 5 a lot on service. Sierra can't quite track down the block touch of Cruz.
It's a great swing there from Spiridova, taking advantage of those high hands. She can see the big block that Mallory's been putting up and just using that to her advantage and taking it just past Sierra's reach.
As Cruz finds McGovern on the 3-meter line. Batiste goes middle this time. Atanasova sets into the block and just wide. Boyson Cruz. As Vizvian just starting to now find her rhythm a little bit, find some ways to hit around the block. We saw a couple go wide early in set 1, but last couple have found the floor. As Shivadova, 36 aces on the season, most in the Mari Women's Super League. Not going to get one there as Sierra with a perfect pass. Boyce makes Shivadova play defense, but good defense. And another kill off the block, really trying to find the angles. Less aggressive swing, but more placement swings by Vinarius in set number 2. And they have a 3-point lead.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Gibertini sees the same thing that I'm seeing, and he's told his ladies to start going for the block out kill off of the closest to the pin hand of the block on Mallory's side.
McGovern, Batiste, Davitt can't quite get it. There's another little just tip by Selena Batiste, and she's done that so well.
Yeah, again, just really smart play, waiting until the last moment to show that she's going to be tipping that ball and pushing it quite close to the block rather than pushing it deep and within Davitt's reach, because she's fast, but you have to be incredibly fast to get that ball.
Especially with Batiste going hard, a lot of times you probably wait slightly on the back of your heels as they're going to call that.
They've called a Tennisova under the line, sorry, on a line, center line fault. I will withhold my personal judgment on that one.
Steph Boyce, who we'll see in coaching action later this month as well, goes over the service line. Another serving error by Mallory. And ironically, a lot of the serving errors have come from their 2 most consistent servers on the season. McGovern and Boyce both came in at 95.5% and 95.6% success rate, and they've combined for 3 of the errors.
Yes.
Amazing what a little bit of Final Fours nerves can do as Batiste tip again.
the same spot as well. So smart. She's seen that they haven't adjusted to it. On the next defense, they might adjust. Davitt might be in closer. Now that was Sora in the back, so it was smart to take advantage of the middle being back there. Davitt might adjust on the next one, so she might see a really strong rip on her next attack.
Shrivadova, Antonisova didn't want to let Stewart take it, tried to stay in system. Allen from the pipe. Antonisova this time does take it, so Lionhearts out of system. Free ball given up. McGovern long set out to Cruz, who is denied by Vislien on the one-on-one solo block.
Incredible block there. That was exactly perfect. You can see she's up, her hands are pushed in, her body's pressed over the net. She is absolutely stuffing that one.
It was interesting, Cruz looked over to the bench and she has Kellum, Scott, amongst others, giving us some feedback on it. They obviously picked something up as Mallory tried to go slide. Lazard misses the antenna. And change coming for Mallory. I think Jefferson Williams just pointed to the bench. And it is a change incoming. Cruz is going to take a break and into the game wearing number 13, Chica Tamoy. Tamoy returned to the Mallory lineup in the Cup semi-final win over Darkstar Derbyshire, but missed the previous month of the season. As Allen, again, Mallory trying to go slide, and this time Lazaro finds the back corner.
Really
and gets Mallory into double digits.
Really smart play there from McGovern to do the exact same play again. She knew that it was her error on the previous one. She set that ball a little too wide for Lazard, so she said, right, I will adjust that, and I'll put it up perfect for you.
Indeed, perfect side out for Mallory. Atanasova tries the dump, gets it over the hands of Lazard. Don't see a lot of that from Mira Atanasova. Just her 13th kill on the season.
What a time to do it as well. So smart. She saw the Mallory ladies just stood there. Everybody was a bit stood up instead of down and ready for that ball.
Sierra, McGovern, Lazard. Simple as you like for Mallory yet again, and Grace Lazard. Last chance in the front row.
I'm just going to say on that one point, Lazard was miles above both of the blockers. Absolutely head and shoulders above them. They had no chance to get that ball.
And she'll head back to the service line. Goes deep, Davitt plays it to her left. Shrivadova attacking, but only finds Allen. She'll get it back off McGovern. Tries to go line. Vislien picks it up. Shrivadova into the block. Tamoy with the pickup. McGovern keeps it alive on the second touch. Pipe attack into the block of Boyce. She gives a big celebration to Steph Boyce on the pipe attack.
Yeah, well read from Boyce there. That set through the pipe looking just a little bit forced. Stewart trying to do what she could, but Boyce, perfect.
But again, Allen also helping out, making that a double block through the middle. As Lazard goes tight angle, overpass, Allen. Quick as you like with the stuff, and we are tied at 13 points apiece. And timeout for Lionhearts.
Yeah, massive turnaround from this Mallory squad since their timeout. So now Lionhearts will be looking to take their own timeout, try and reset things. The passing has been better. They've struggled in the last couple of points. We've started to see that come through. But it's just the speed of the Mallory offense. They are beating the Lionhearts block every single time. So now that they've tightened up the pass, the next step is, right, what can we do from a blocking perspective to shut them down?
Yeah. And again, the outside change as well, just trying to vary up. We talked about the versatility of this Mallory team. They will make changes. We might see Claire Kellum into the game. We still get to see Jaden Scott, who started a lot of games. So we'll see that versatility throughout. But Tamoy's a really interesting one. Obviously missed some time as well, so a little bit rusty.
You say rusty, I say fresh. Depends on your perspective.
But in the top 15 in hits per set for Mallory, it was a big part of that run over Christmas as Porsche finds the line. McGovern again thought it might have been a little bit wide, but quick side out of the timeout, exactly what you want. Trying to run the middle attack. And
yep.
Porsche makes no mistake, and she'll head back to serve Tamoy. Sierra only can get that to the 3-meter line for Allen. Atanasova, oh, a little bit too far. Shrivadova stepped inside the line. Boyce left-handed, And net touch by Sora. And a point for Mallory to tie us back up at 14 apiece.
Yeah, quite back and forth at the minute. Exactly what.
As McGovern again, you can see Mallory trying to target position 5 a lot on the serve. Tamoy with a good dig. Allen goes deep corner. Stewart gets a hand to it, but over the scorer's table. And Mallory from 3 down into the lead in set number 2. Reminder, they took set number 1 25-21.
Yeah, it's a lot tighter this set, but you can see Allen is starting to get back into this second set. She still looks quite relaxed when she's hitting the ball. She looks comfortable with the set speed and the height, so she just needs to capitalize on that.
Allen again, can see Lionhearts right now, a lot of times the outside hit is playing serve receive and also being asked to try and kill the ball as a touch from Shrivadova into the hands of Boyce, and she'll get the block touch out.
Yeah, that's a tight set. She didn't have a lot that she could do with that, especially with it coming from that weird angle from position number 1, but just taking the smart approach and going block out yet again.
Tamoy got caught trying to go overhand on a ball that was dipping, puts it straight onto the floor, and Mira and Atanasova get there eventually with her 19th ace of the season. And Lionhearts VINARIUS into the lead. Tamoy much better, but McGovern way off the 3-meter line. Shrivadova waits on it, touch. Sierra's going to track it down on the baseline. Batiste, Shrivadova over on 1 off the touch. Sierra sets Allen, goes to the tip, and Vizliena read it well, but couldn't quite get there, with David also trying to make the cover.
Yeah, you can see that Lionhearts have definitely adjusted their defense to cover off that tip a lot better. There were 2 players on the floor. Both of them could have gotten that ball. It just didn't quite get up where they needed it to get to.
David onto the 3-meter line. Shrivadova onto the opposite on the rotation. She finds the net.
It looks like from this angle, now granted we are quite high up from the court, it looks like those sets to the opposite, and then when the backcourt sets are happening, they're just a little too low for the attackers.
As Allen tries to take something off it, again going at Masha Shrivadova in serve receive, and a think called under the net.
Sorry,
Crossing
so
the
this lay-in as she was coming down from that attack, because it was quite tight when she just leaned into the bottom tape of the net.
Oh, she caught the bottom of the net.
Yeah.
It was something to do with the net and the central line, and that will force Lionhearts into a timeout. Scoreboard opposite us, I believe, is wrong.
I've got this as 16 Lionhearts, 18.
So does our
Mallerie
scoreboard.
Eagles.
Now the scoreboard opposite us does as well.
Okay, and this is Lionheart's second time out as well. So
Indeed it is.
this is their last opportunity to make some tweaks for this set. Try and again get some momentum as they exit set number 2 to take into set number 3. Now they're still close enough. This could go either way. They just need to settle back into what they were doing, you know, between points kind of like 10 and 20 of the match, in total. They need to get back to that position where they had really great passing. They were getting the middles involved, and the sets were going exactly where the attackers wanted them at.
Do you think it's starting to become a little bit predictable? We're seeing a lot of Shrivadova right now, even off serve receive. So as an ace has come, Atanasova a little bit flat-footed. Vizliena was running to the opposite to try and line up for a swing, but you've got to get the ball up before you can have a swing.
So that is the second ace out of a timeout that Mallory's had. Now it was Lazard in the last set, Allen this time, but something that they've done in preparation, those timeouts are not throwing them off at all. That's a much
into the block of Tamoy. Solo stuff for the outside from Japan. And change coming. It's a set of change for Lionhearts. We'll see that again on the replay. Atanasova out and Nebrega back into the lineup.
Yeah, they needed to change something. As you mentioned, the setting was starting to become a bit predictable, although that pass is not going to help things.
Yeah, that makes a predictable set, but Soleil to put a big swing on it. Batiste goes cross-court, finds the angle, beats Nebrega, and all of a sudden, from a tight set, Mallory have put the foot on the gas, and they are romping away, lead by 5.
Yeah, Mallory looked like they've definitely settled back in. We're going to have another change. New middle on court.
Into the game weighing 13 for the first time, Olivia Moore. Played in 8 matches, 31 sets this season. Swiss player as Shrivadova on the back set beats McGovern on the cross court.
That's an incredible angle from Svirdova there. You can see on the replay, nice set, exactly the right distance from the net, and Batiste just not able to get that ball up.
As Jefferson Williams just said something to his bench down there, so I wonder if we'll see a change in a minute. McGovern goes underarm, Tomoy waits on it, goes at Shrivadova. Not a great pass, she'll get the pipe attack. Boyce rejects it and Moore can't quite make the stab. And here comes a service change for Mallory. Jaden Scott into the game as a serving sub. Scott, 91% success rate, 4 aces on the season. Second season back with Mallory, having spent last year at Side Out Home. Originally spent her first season in the UK at Mallory. As tip over the block. Batiste into the block, out. Stewart couldn't quite control it, and Mallory moved 2 points away from the set.
Yeah, this is much more of the Mallory that we've been seeing all season long. They look comfortable. They look like they're confident. They're definitely... Sorry, that's just a replay called because of one of the...
Yeah, you can't time the server out for 10 seconds if there's a second ball on court. That would be harsh. Again, not a great serve receive. Vislien finds the back line. Lazard tip, well read by Stewart, able to come off the net to play it. Allen, back corner, pick up. Tomoy into the block and Scott leaves it. And Mallory bring up 7 set points. Reminder, this was 13-13. So Mallory have 11 of the last 15 points. And Jaden Scott has a chance to close this set out. She'll go float serve, looking for the ace, and gets it.
What an ace to finish things off. Incredible performance from Scott to come on in that late in that set as a serving substitution and just close it out for her team.
Also, a rare middle serving sub. Don't see many of them.
You don't. Normally at that point in the match, you might see that you have a serving substitution that's like a second libero playing in a regular jersey, or maybe an outside that can just shore up the defense a bit. But really great performance there from Scott.
We are going to take a quick break here from Crystal Palace. Mallerie Eagles lead LIONHEARTS VINARIUS 2-0 in semi-final number 1. Welcome back to a sun-baked Crystal Palace here at the National Sports Centre. Semi-final number 1 of Final 4. Mallerie Eagles UEL leading LIONHEARTS VINARIUS 2 sets to none, 25-21, 25-17. Mike Antomos, Jess Smith, and Jess. Big thing we talked about in the break while we were off air quickly. Mallerie Eagles being a little bit more conservative, making LIONHEARTS earn points. No error in the last nearly 20 points in set number 2.
Yeah, really impressive from them. After that timeout that they took, they really turned things around. They look so much more confident. They've put plenty of stuff up for the opponents to have to look at. And they've shown as well that Chloe Allen really has come out onto the court and has just absolutely dominated things. So it's really great to see.
So in set number 2, Mallory had 12 kills compared to Lionhearts 10, but it was really that error rate that dropped as both teams coming out for set 3. And Mallory going with the hot hand, yes. Really smart coaching by Jefferson Williams. You expect no less from this group. Jefferson Williams, Ian Legrand, Carol Gordon, part of the Mallory coaching staff. They go straight, albeit Jefferson's handwriting may be causing an issue. We'll see here. I think Jefferson's made a mistake. So we're going to see what Mallory have got on court, because Jefferson has made a mistake. So let's see what happens.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, Mallory going with 3 setters. Claire Kellum, Selena Batiste, and Georgia McGovern all on court.
So they're going to have a substitution before
after the first point. But hey, we know Mallory pulled out some things. 3 setters, we have seen once or twice from them, so it's not completely out of system. At least. Okay, now they can make the sub.
Yeah.
Does that count as a set played?
Yes, because they were
I'm
on the
asking
court.
our resident statistician to our right. Is that going to be a set played? Substitution after 0 points.
She'll be on the score sheet for the set, so it has to.
But Jaden Scott, nonetheless, after the little mishap from Jefferson Williams, proving he is a human. Jaden Scott, 3 straight points to end set 1. She will serve net touch by Maggie Stewart on the overpass and makes it a 4th straight point on serve for Jaden Scott. Interesting that Lionhearts have stuck with the setter change as well. Gabby Nabrea into the front row. Stewart has to backpedal, blocked by Batiste, blocked again by Lazard, this time for the kill.
Wow.
And the Mallory fans warming themselves up.
Yeah.
Long day for them. Their men are in action game number 4. We have seen a couple of the Mallory men drift through. Nathan Fullerton, amongst others, in the crowd on the far side. Short serve by Scott. Shrivadova into the block, but Tamoy can't quite get it down in time. And Lionhearts side out the 3rd time of asking.
Yeah, great swing there from Vasileyan as she took that block out and down.
So, Vasileyan back to serve. Straight at Allen. Perfect pass. Lazard, complete miss hit for the kill. Doesn't matter how it happens. We'll call it talent.
I mean, we can call it ups because that was a massive jump from her. And so in volleyball terms, we would call that the paintbrush. She just barely swiped it. Just enough to get it over the net and put it down because nobody's expecting that.
Scoreboard on the opposite side to us is wrong. So we'll ignore that one. As McGovern on the 3-metre line finds Tamoy off the top of the net tape. I don't know if there's a little touch on it as well, but the spin created the sharp angle. And Chika Tamoy off the bench. Not the greatest serve reception, but she's starting to make a impact on the offensive end.
Yeah, interesting to see. The last 2 sets from McGovern have been not quite where her hitters are expecting them, but they've both done such a great job to adjust to that.
As Batiste tries to go down the line again, attacking position 5, but this time pushes it slightly wide, but you can definitely tell that's something that Mallory been working on, trying to push the ball down that line on the serve.
Yeah, and one of the times that you would accept the service error is when you're putting pressure to have a position 1 to position 5 serve, which is one of the hardest things to do, but also hard to pass.
Shrivadova off the top of the net tape and out. Porsche was trying to run the slide. Ball went the opposite direction.
Again, those sets just not quite the right height for the attackers. I think Sviridova wanted that one just a little bit higher.
As Davitt gets Stewart flying beyond the baseline, 3 ball. Tamoy calls for it. Lazard takes a lot of weight off it, beats the block short, which is a rare thing, a difficult thing to do. And again, shows the quality of Grace Lazar. Just the quick decision making, wasn't the right set, goes to a different shot. And Lionhearts, Vinarius trailing 6 points to 2, want to talk it over. Jess, really, it's now or never for this side if they want to try and find a way back into this semi-final.
Yeah, they really do have to. They have to figure out some way to get the passing better. It's to see Davitt make that big of a service reception error is a bit of a surprise. You can see Coach Tibertini is speaking specifically to Porsche and the
Setter to middle connection.
Yes, all about that, which is a bit funny because you can see the last couple of points, despite the fact that Mallory has taken them, they've had some really good kills. That setter and attacking connection is just starting to break down. So can Lionhearts take advantage of that? Can they start to put some blocks in? It's hard to read an attack when the attacker doesn't know where the ball is going to be there.
Yeah, again, it's coming down to that error issue in set number 1 for Lionhearts Vinarius, that the path wasn't good and it knocked on the set, and it never feel like, outside of a few points, Atanova was never settled really in her setting. And the Bregas struggled a little bit as well as Tomoy out of the timeout goes float serve. Davitt, perfect pass. There's the slide. We knew it was coming. Blocked by Chloe Allen, though.
Interesting to see Allen there going up one-on-one because Lazard was going the other direction first. As we mentioned before, the attacking options for Lionhearts have been a bit one-dimensional, but just changing it up there.
Shuvadova going to get it back. Tries to go tip, miss, plays it, and unfortunately for Lionhearts, it's all starting to crumble. 8-2 down, 2 sets to none down. It looks like Mallerie Eagles are starting to have a stamp into the gold medal game, the game they missed out on so agonizingly last year, losing in 5 sets to the eventual champions Durham in what was an absolute thriller at the National Volleyball Centre in Kettering. As Lazard through the middle.
Again, but this time the connection is there. She absolutely hammers that ball, and Davitt does what she can to try and get there. But now we're going to have a double substitution for Lionhearts.
So, positional swap as well. So, the double sub putting A1 back into the game. Atanasova as well, but the opposite for the middle. We know A1 can play outside and opposite. 50 kills on the season as Porsche can't connect with Atanasova off the bench, and Mallory up to double digits already. And a team full of confidence, playing as well as Mallerie Eagles have done all season, losing only 1 game. You don't expect them to throw away an 8-point lead, but crazier things have happened as Pamoy aces Shrivadova. I think another timeout is on the way.
They might have to give it another couple of points.
Here it comes.
And there it is.
5 straight out of the first timeout for Mallerie Eagles.
So this is a last gasp timeout. If you're burning your second timeout at 13 points into the set, you're trying to break the momentum and hoping that out of this timeout that Mallory missed their serve.
What choice do you have at 11-2 down though? 2 sets to none down. It's if you wait another 5 points, it gets to 15-4. Game is probably over. So right decision. But the other thing for this Lionhearts team is you've got tomorrow to think about as well. You don't want this set to be a complete car crash and have to sleep on that one overnight. You want to find some momentum going into this if this result goes the way we expect it to.
Yep. You can see the players, they're clapping each other on, they're trying to get each other's spirits up. It's really difficult when you're facing a team that's outclassing you at the minute and you're just making a few too many errors. It's hard to not get in your head. And finally, a timeout leads to a service error.
So Tomoy goes into net after a long service run. Sierra plays it, ball maybe creeping out. Not the best game from the Mallory Libero as Lionhearts force the error from Chloe Allen.
Yeah, I think that set there from McGovern was just a little too wide for Allen. She's trying to do something with it and just striking the antenna with the ball.
And that's exactly the response Lionhearts would have wanted out of the first time out. They instead get it at the second. To Porsche, Sierra, perfect pass. Allen waits on it, finds the block of Srinadova.
And again, you can see...
timeout, Mallerie Eagles. As you see that again on the screen, complete solo block.
From Sviridova. Yeah, really smart from Lionhearts there. So they've brought in Iwan, and what they're doing right now is with her and Sviridova both in the front court, they've moved Sviridova over to the opposite side to put up a bigger block against Allen, trying to put that ball down, doing exactly what she's done there. Taking advantage of the fact that Sviridova is comfortable on either side of the court. And Coach Tibertini just giving a couple of extra words to Moore, one of the two middles.
As Porsche goes long on the serve, out of the timeout. We had aces earlier, now we're going back to what feels like default, which is service errors, off timeouts.
Coaches' points, as they are so aptly named, finally coming good.
So Mallerie Eagles 12-5 up. Grace Lazard going to be a consideration for player of the game on the service line as the set from Atanasova low, and Moore finds the middle of the net.
Yeah, so that the pass was much better that time. Atanasova just still not quite putting the height on the ball that her attackers need.
As Grace Lazard off the top of the net takes Stewart with a great pickup. Trivadova finds Tomoy in position 6 as Allen block. Atanasova gets to it, and great scrambling defense by Lionhearts. Deep free ball slide for Scott is rejected by Moore and Trivadova, and the Lionhearts block that was there early in set number 1 starting to come through late in set 3.
Yeah, something that Tibertini said to Sviridova in that timeout, the last one, must have just changed her perspective just enough to get her up there and putting that ball down consistently.
Tomoy, again, a little bit crossed up on the service. Block touch for Vinarius. Shrivadova again into the block. Scott and McGovern combining this time. Anything you can do, we can do as well.
Yeah, good combination block from the two of them. Well watched, but you know, it seemed quite obvious anyway that that ball was going to Sviridova, so they were always going to get a good solid block set up there.
Yeah, Sweat and the Sovas really just not managed to get any of the other hitters really going. Stewart's been particularly quiet, having had a big couple of kills in set 1. Allen goes down the line and beats Iwan. And Chloe Allen. Another kill to the total. She's another one that we're going to be considering for player of the game. It's a big decision to make.
She just looks so relaxed every time she attacks the ball.
As Georgie McGovern had a couple of serving errors in set number 1, found her rhythm. Olivia Moore finds Sierra. Allen tries to go roll over Davik, able to play it. Shrivadova touches it into the block. Scott will recycle. Back set for Batiste, gets the touch of Shrivadova, and it kills the momentum of the ball. And more subs coming, I believe another double sub. Lionhearts really trying to find ways into this ball game.
Yeah, so reversal of that double substitution. It's interesting, this whatever is happening with Sviridova and the setter, because it looks like they have a pin attack, but they also have like a shorter attack, kind of a 3-ball, and they're not getting the communication or the connection right to decide when they're doing which of those sets.
Nagria gets the net touch, trying to rescue the overpass. Almost looked like from our angle she'd done it, but just on the way down, middle of the net with the shoulder. And George McGovern now on a big serving run, and this time floats it over the baseline.
Commentators curse that, just saying that she was on a good service run and now she's off.
Of course. It's definitely our fault from 15 metres above the court, always.
Completely.
Shrivadova finds Allen, trying to go a little bit sharper angle. Scott has to readjust. Out of system for Lionheart. Stewart finds Tomoy, who's Davide wanting the double touch as Vislien beats Sierra down the line.
The referee just asking to speak to Stewart here.
Presumably a little bit of a coach warning. Yep. She goes straight over, says calm down, and before she even come over, Davide was nodding his head as the serve. McGovern. Baptiste, been a little bit quiet in set number 3, finds another kill, but Jess, she's been so solid in that opposite position for Mallory.
Yep, she has been very, very solid. Really good to see. So her and Allen are probably the two most comfortable in attack, it seems, in this match.
Stewart into the block of Scott. She raises her hands in celebration.
Scott has come on, and she came on as a serving substitution originally, but she has had such an impact, not only from the service line, but she's had a couple of really solid blocks as well.
As Nabrera and Stewart get in each other's way. Stewart able to put the ball into the middle of the Mallory defense off the top of the net tape.
That was so odd. It's just like an almost standing roll shot. Clips the tape a bit, but there's no block up. If they'd have just jumped a little bit, they would have put that ball away. And then the defense not expecting the block not to jump, so everybody's just standing there watching that ball hit the ground. Another one from McGovern. Again, that court awareness so high, knowing exactly when she needs to put that ball down.
So Mallory 5 points away from making the finals. That ball, that from my angle looked like it clipped the line. I don't know if we've got, wasn't quite looking at the baseline camera, but Mallory adamant. Chloe Allen, a couple of times on that far side. Mallory believe they've not quite got the call.
Yeah, there have been a couple of calls that are quite tight. It's really tough to tell from the angle that we're stood at, so we couldn't say definitively whether or not it was in or out. But yeah, ultimately the referee has made a decision, and now Lionhearts to serve.
And they move into double digits, 10 points, but Mallory just 5 away as Tamoy finds Shrewdover on the back line. Stewart goes down the line, big pick up Chloe Allen. Sierra has to set. Tamoy tries to roll over the top, but a little bit too much on it.
Interesting there, Tamoy just trying to do a little bit more with that, but what a pickup mid-rally there from Chloe Allen. That was an incredible dig.
So Vislien goes line, Tamoy, good pass, quick-ish ball. Baptiste tries to roll it. Porsche into the shoulder, and that's going to be a 4th touch from Lionhearts. And Selena Baptiste done a really good job with the changes, and she'll take a well-earned breather as Sophie Shishko checks in for Mallory to serve.
So one really solid serving substitution. The last time they had one of these, is it going to be another one?
The ever versatile Shishko not on that one, into the net. Encouragement for Jefferson Williams. Not often we see that after a net serve by Jeff, but I suppose if you're going to do it 10 points up in set number 3 is probably an okay time to get away with being a little bit rusty. She's got a massively versatile player for Mallory as McGovern set a dump into the middle of the court, but she's played as a libero, wants to fill in when Ari Sierra was away passing in Florida, played opposite and outside. She's such a versatile piece for this Mallory team. Serve, receive, rating of 2.15. Won't need that as a playing in the oppo right now as Stewart from well beyond the 3-meter line goes long, and Mallory looking like they're going to close this one out comfortably, Jess.
Yeah, it's looking pretty comfortable for them. Interesting to see that Lionhearts are only putting a pipe up when the ball is well out of system. You would think that when they have a good pass, they have so many attacking options. Why not use all of them? But they're very one-dimensional at the moment.
Slide for Porsche, but little touch on the block.
Smart use of the hands again.
It's noticeable when Porsche's got set she can do something with. She's been effective, but unfortunately today for Lionhearts and Aries not quite able to time it up enough. As Lazard down the middle splits the block of Moore and Shrivadova.
Again, another one of these really monstrous swings from Lazard. You can see smart play from McGovern to just go behind instead of in front of, throwing off the block of the Lionhearts.
So 11 match points for Mallory. Grace Lazard back to serve. Shrivadova. Moore goes angle tip. Lazard can't quite make the dig.
Again, that connection between Atanasova and Moore is just not quite firing. I'm sorry. It's not Atanasova, it is Nebrega. But really smart adjustment by Moore to take advantage of the fact that Lazard was in the backcourt.
Nebrega with the serve. Allen into the block, finds the floor, and the Mallerie Eagles close this one out in convincing style. They will upgrade last year's bronze. We don't know if it's going to be a gold or a silver. We will find that out tomorrow afternoon. But they defeat London Lionhearts Venaries 25-21, 25-17, and 25-14. And yes, thought like Mallerie Eagles going in were probably favourites today, and they showed why. Really accomplished performance.
Yeah, the folks in the comments called it ahead of the match. The vote was definitely for Mallerie Eagles to have won that one. But they started out a little bit wobbly. They gave away a number of points in the first set, let Lionhearts in a little too much. And then in sets 2 and 3, they really tightened things up. They started to play at their own rhythm. The speed of the offense got a bit faster, and it just showed with the score difference as that went on. So we could see improving scores for each of the 3 sets from the Mallory perspective. A massive number of kills in that match. Massive number of blocks as well that we've seen.
Just having a look at our very unofficial commentary booth statistics. Mallory 5 aces to 1 for Lionheart. 12 block kills compared to 5, and then 36 kills for the Eagles. So we're talking right there, 53 of the 75 points. They really made sure they took some off because the errors were high in set 1, and that's when it changed and found some rhythm. But they got contributions from everyone on the court.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, interesting to see the impact that our ones to watch had for both squads. So for Lionhearts, Spiridova was their top scorer that we saw coming through. And for Mallory Eagles, their top scorer was number 4, Chloe Allen, who looked so comfortable through the outside. But we cannot go to the end of this match and not talk about the impact that Lazard had. She was incredible in blocking. She had some really great service runs, and she was really solid all throughout. And those attacks, once that connection was there between her and McGovern, basically unstoppable. She's miles above that block.
And for Lionhearts, they'll be a little bit disappointed. Feel like they probably underperformed a little bit, but a chance to regroup tomorrow. Again, they said going in they were going to play loose. Got another opportunity tomorrow to try and get a bronze medal.
Yes, I think that they'll take some learnings from the match today. They had some really bright sparks, some really good moments. And now it will be just for them to rest and recoup and prepare themselves for their bronze medal match tomorrow. And they'll find out here shortly who they're going to be playing against, because we will be having the second women's semifinal in just a...
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I know we've got our game MVP on the way up, but I've just seen Carol Gordon make a sign to DJ Cads in the booth up here. I think we know what's coming. And I think we might about to have a Mallory Eagle-style dance party.
I think we should have a dance party, and I still want to see that dance-off. We might have to make that one happen for tomorrow, because that is still something I definitely want to see between her and Spiky. Would be epic.
Well, Jess, appreciate your help as ever in game number 1. You're going to take a little bit of a break. She'll be back later as we are going to bring in our game MVP up to the commentary booth as the Mallerie Eagles. You'll see it on the screen from the baseline. They've requested a song. I've dragged our game MVP away. I hope she doesn't mind too much as we watch your teammates dance. But Chloe Allen, welcome upstairs. 3-0 victory. How delighted are you with that performance?
Very delighted, actually. I think we struggled a bit in the middle. It's a bit hotter in here than we're used to, but I think we played our game and we did very well execution-wise.
Obviously, you talked in the week to me about having the fast start. A little bit shaky first couple of points, but you stepped on the gas, got about 5-point lead early. How important was that just to not let this Lionhearts team who've not been in a situation like this settle into that match?
I think that honestly won the game for us. I think they are a big momentum team. They can easily take over if they feel a bit of confidence. And so for us, getting that early start and kind of asserting our dominance made the rest of the game go a lot smoother.
And we talked about it all year, total team effort, made MVP tough as you know, but just talk about the impact of the middles today and slowing down Mallory Porcher, who you hadn't seen in the regular season.
It was huge. I mean, just to have not a perfectly formed 2-block in front of you every time is a game changer for everyone. I mean, Grace pulled a double block almost every time. Selena was hitting well, so it absolutely makes everything easier for everyone, just having all options available. They're absolutely getting after it.
Not all your teammates know the dance. Captain Chloe, there's some work to do overnight, but
honestly,
just talk about the impact as well off the bench. Obviously, Jeff made a miss sub, but obviously Chika Tamoy missed time out injured. Nice to see her come in and make an impact set 2 into set 3 with that service run.
Yeah, I mean, very good. I mean, that is what we've been speaking about all season, the depth of our team. When someone's not performing at their absolute best, or we just need to show something else, anyone can come in and fill that role, and she did that perfectly. She dug well and she hit effectively, so that's what we needed.
We talked about it in the week. You wanted to upgrade the bronze. You've done that. Now what's the game plan? 24 hours rest and recover and prep for tomorrow?
Yes. I think we're going to support our men, but I think most importantly, we are going to recover. We're going to watch the game following, see what we're up against. Whoever wins, it's going to be a good match. So we'll be scouting a bit and then just focusing on getting some good rest and recovery.
Well, I won't put you on the spot who you want to play, but I do know you want it to go 5, right?
Absolutely. Tire them out the most we can.
Well, there's our game 1 MVP, Chloe Allen, Mallerie Eagles beating Lionhearts 3-0, and we'll see Chloe in the gold medal game tomorrow. Well done, Chloe.
Amazing. Thank you.
Chloe Allen, and close it off here in the commentary booth. We'll be back in about 45 minutes time. Game number 2, Essex Rebels will take on Team Side Out Polonia.